I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
I'm Jesper de Jong.
I'm Henry Laaksen.
I am Francisco Cerundolo,
and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Last year,
Novak Djokovic has left Australia after losing his appeal against his visa cancellation.
He knew the conditions since a lot of months ago.
I was just following the rules. I came in with all the valid papers.
The volley! It's so good! He's done it!
It's the miracle in Melbourne.
Novak Djokovic has been granted a visa allowing him to play in next year's Australian Open.
Fans who taunt Djokovic are on notice. Do so and you'll be kicked out by security.
Carlos Alcaraz is out of the Australian Open.
I look at my ranking, it's giving me a lot of confidence, but on the other hand I know that these are just the numbers. Anybody can win a Grand Slam right now.
Who is going to avoid Novak Djokovic? Daniel Medvedev's in the same court as Rafael Nadal.
It doesn't get much worse, I'm sorry.
Can Raducanu beat Coco Gauff in a second round bet?
Felix Auger-Aliassime will win the Australian Open. Iga Swiatek will win.
Aryna Sabalenka and Taylor Fritz. Yes, you heard it here first.
Novak Djokovic, clear winner for me. So my projected semi-finals for the women's, Zheng against Pegula and Garcia against Samsonova.
I see Novak Djokovic holding his 10th Australian Open trophy this year. I see Maria Sakkari winning her first Grand Slam title at the Australian Open.
The Nicholas Kyrgios steam train is powering his way through to an Australian Open title win, and he's taken out Novak Djokovic on his way.
Ooh, it is semi-final preview time at the Australian Open. We have concluded our quarterfinals. That was finished off in impressive fashion by Novak Djokovic earlier this morning. If you're in the UK, probably in the evening. If you are in Australia, it was a straight sets win, and bodes the question now. Who can stop Novak Djokovic when he is playing in this type of form? He did it to de Minaur. Now he's done it to Rublev. Is Tommy Paul the next person on the chopping board for Novak Djokovic?
Yeah, exactly. And then there were four. We are left with four players on the men, four players on the women's, only one champion. And I must admit, the men's one seems a little bit easier to call. The women's, you could make a case for any of them. I really believe that. Yep. All four of them, you can make a case to win this whole thing. On the men's, I'm not sure if you can do that. Djokovic has been the standout performer. We've watched him take apart his opponents, really, every single match of this event. I mean, Enzo Cocard did okay. Dimitrov did okay at times. Aside from that, it's just been so straightforward for Novak, and he is cruising. The injury doesn't seem to be there anymore. He's playing free-flowing tennis. He's serving better than every player on the tour. He's returning better than every player on the tour. You just can't see him losing points, let alone games or sets at the moment.
I agree with you. I thought he was just so impressive against Rublev. Rublev, the type of person that if you get under his skin, he may crack, and it just proved that there was one point in the second set where you just sort of knew it was all over. I'm thinking maybe Rublev was beaten before he made it even onto the court, which is a bit of a sad thing for somebody who's never made it past a quarterfinal to be doubting themselves before they even go into their quarterfinal. The post-match interview in the last round, even though it was funny, it was self-deprecating. I don't know if that's the right way to be going about tackling Novak Djokovic in a Grand Slam quarterfinal. You need to be in your A game mentally, and I don't think he was there. And he was just so disappointed. Well, disappointed on the court. You could see. I only wonder what he's feeling like now. It's all passed in what seemed like a blink of an eye, mate.
Yeah, and I'm just watching some clips of outside the grounds of Rod Laver Arena. You've got hundreds of Serbian supporters there cheering, shouting for Nole. A lot of people are wondering, with him coming into Australia this year, with what's happened last year, whether he's going to be getting the support. He certainly answered them questions, because I believe he's been the most supported tennis player at this year's Australian Open. And he's delivering on the court as well. He's got the support off the court. He's playing well on the court. I don't know what more Djokovic could want right now. Everything is looking great for him. And next up is Tommy Paul, who's on paper an easier opponent than the previous 2 matches he's had to play. However, let's try and look at this seriously, because he has never, ever played Tommy Paul. And I think we'll probably start there with the preview, right? Because Tommy Paul had some things to say about him. So maybe if we start on that one, and we'll just move our way through. So
yeah, good idea.
So he was like, I think we have practiced before. I'm sure we practiced before, but we've never played a match against each other. He's pretty comfortable here in Australia. It's going to be a challenging match, but I'm playing some of my best tennis, so it's a good time. So Tommy Paul, I thought that the most fascinating part about all of that is that he seems a little bit more confident than, say, Andre Rublev's reaction. Rublev, instantly after his match, was questioned, you got Djokovic in the next round. He said, oh, no, this isn't good. Tommy Paul, on the other hand, seems a little bit more positive, a little bit more optimistic. He's thinking, I'm playing my best tennis at the moment. This is the best time to be playing him. He's not worried so much about Djokovic's level, and he's more happy with the fact that he's playing well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like this mindset, taking all of the pressure really off of himself as well. I think that he's going in saying he's playing his best tennis. No one's expecting him to win, so he doesn't have that sort of thing on his shoulders. He can go out there and he can learn from Alex de Minaur and Andre Rublev. Bear in mind, he's lower ranked than both of those players as well. So I think this is just an opportunity. Go out there, have a good time, play your tennis, and don't leave anything out there. Like, just literally just give it your all, and then you will you won't be disappointed. I think Andre Rublev today tried to rally with Djokovic all the time. What are you doing? Go for your winners. You're a big hitting player. Just go for it, because you're not going to beat Djokovic in the rallying match. And I think Tommy Paul, take note from that, and maybe we might see he might be able to grab a set. Who knows? We could see something crazy in the semi-final if Tommy Paul decides to just really, really go for Djokovic. We don't know.
Yeah, we've got Tushar in saying Tommy Paul going through the same semis run that Lucas Puel did in 2019 Australian Open, only to be destroyed by Nole. And we're going to go through that draw in a second. But Theo has another one saying Tommy strikes me as a guy who just doesn't care at all and just wants to play tennis.
Yeah,
he does come across as quite a relaxed guy, if I'm honest. He generally just feels like someone who just wants to play his tennis, get on with it. I don't think he's going to beat himself up if he loses. I don't know how much he must care, but I look at him and he just thinks he's like a guy who's playing tennis because he's just really good.
Yeah,
I get that vibe off him.
And he's
enjoying it. He enjoys it. He loves tennis. He plays it because he's good. He can beat a lot of players. If he doesn't, I got fair enough. I'm quite happy with that. Maybe that might help him against someone like Djokovic, because everyone else seems to be so worried when they see him. Maybe Tommy Paul looks at him and thinks, it's Djokovic. Right, I've never played him before. I'll do what I can. And with that calm mindset and mentality, he may be able to produce great level and do something to Djokovic. But I think it's a very tall order. The players he has beat to get to this stage is Struff in the first round, then Davidovich Fokina in 5, then Jensen Brooksby, the American, in straights, Batista Agut in 4, and Shelton in the last in 4 sets.
Yes, and Davidovich Fokina, that was a really tough match. It seemed his toughest one of the whole entire tournament, but he got through that. Batista Agut, maybe the name on paper that stands out the most out of all of the ones that he's beaten, considering he did so well against Murray as well. There's just part of me that just thinks, what's it going to take for Tommy Paul? Is he going to have enough support there to be able to get it over the line? The college tennis route, this type of thing, and the way the Americans really get around each other, I think is going to be really beneficial for Tommy Paul. I think that's part of the reason that he's doing so well at this tournament. There's so many Americans in there. It's like you're traveling with all your mates all the time, and everybody's in the tournament together. You're bouncing off each other. And we know, like from the Wolf, I think that's his physio as well. He's good friends with Taylor Fritz, good friends with Riley Opelka. It's all close knit. I really like it. I think they push each other really well. And Tommy Paul's just had a nice route, and he's just taken his opportunities. This could have been anybody, as you realise. This didn't have to be Tommy Paul in this semi-final. Anybody could have got that out of all those names we just read. That's how wide open that route was. But he's the one who stepped up. So fair play to him. Good luck in this semi-final.
The other side of the net, Novak Djokovic. I know you've got loads of tweets to go through. But funny enough, I want to start with one of mine.
Oh, go on then.
I'm gonna share on the screen. So I don't know if you've got it. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. But it is a good one, and I do really like it. And this is Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic have made it to the semi-finals in 74 of the past 76 Grand Slams from 2004 Wimbledon. The only exceptions were the US Open 2020 and 2022. Of course, the US Open does throw up some different results from time to time, the last slam of the year. But that is just outstanding. I mean, 74 of the past 76 Grand Slams has featured either one of these three.
Amazing. And obviously those 2 years that we're picking out there, obviously Djokovic didn't play in 2022 and was defaulted in 2020. So that's probably the reason that we didn't get to see one in those 2 years. But I mean, if he had played, we know that we would have been seeing another one of those. And they would have just been 76 out of 76, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta love to see those ones all there. And this was sort of along the same lines. That's why I've just brought this one up as well. This was talking about Djokovic and has reached at least 10 semi-finals in every Grand Slam. And you can see that Australian Open 10, Roland Garros 11, Wimbledon 11, US Open 12. Completeness. I mean, yeah, say no more. I think you could say that for probably Roger and Rafa as well. They've made so many of these semi-finals in their career. Great to see it on paper, though, isn't it?
Is that right? He's only reached 10 semi-finals?
At least.
Yeah, but no, 10 at the Australian Open. So that's his least one out of all of them. For
me, it's a shock, to be honest. But he's still breaking records. I think it can add a few more onto that as well. So anyway, let's move back to this one, because this was from Gil Gross, friend of the pod, saying, your Djokovic stat du jour, which I guess means stat of the day. Is that right? That was his 18th straight win against the top 10 opponent in Australia.
Yeah, I think it just shows it doesn't really matter who he plays. Like, you can give him number 2 in the world, number 1 in the world. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the same Novak Djokovic, whatever the situation. He loves it in Australia. A bit like Azarenka on the women's, really, because he seems to really like it down under too. But you'll get that high level, and he'll beat whoever's there because he's far superior than everyone when he's on. And he starts the season always so strongly in Australia. Yeah, it's just it's unbelievable, really. Another one.
Really is. We got Gene confirming there in the live chat. He has a perfect record in semis and finals at the Australian Open. So I mean, it's bad news for everybody else. If he's made the semi-final, it's more than likely he's going to go on and win the final. But
yeah, we've got here Stan Wawrinka was the last person to beat him in Australia in 2014. That was a top 10 player.
Yes, 9-7 in the final, 5th set, if I remember rightly. What an incredible match. And I've been seeing tweets about that as well, saying, put that into perspective, how big a win that was now and how difficult it is to beat Djokovic, right? I just had that one. This one, Jose Morgado just reporting it. There's some more stats in this one. We obviously know he beat Rublev in straight sets in 2 hours. 26 consecutive wins at the Australian Open and ties Agassi's record. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And 39 consecutive wins in Australia. It's nice.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what more to say with it. The numbers are crazy. He is, well, the maddest thing is we're comparing him now to Tommy Paul, who's never been here before. So that's who his next opponent is. And when you have the stats so lopsided in terms of historic success at an event, it's really difficult to then think, how's Paul ever going to beat him? How's he going to take a set? I mean, it's just making it all look, this is just stacking up against him at the moment, all of these stats.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to have to be a big piece of luck if he was to be able to get through this. Maybe he'll have to win off a few net cords. Who knows? Move on to the next one. This one was quite nice just to see visually what it looks like. Djokovic's last 26 matches at the Australian Open. There you go. Can make a T-shirt out of that. All those W's. Anyway, on to the next one. This one from one of your mates.
You have a few, didn't you?
Patrick,
you do have a few Djokovic tweets today.
Well, there was so much flying around and so many people wanted to throw in their 2 cents, especially old Moratoglu. He said, I love how Djokovic starts the match playing almost exclusively on Rublev's forehand, like a boxer who would tell an opponent, go for it, hit me, I'm not scared. I think it's true. I think he was doing that. Just, I'll go with your most powerful weapon and beat you still.
I mean, he's taking the mick, isn't he, out of opponents at this stage. He's that much better than them. He can afford to do that. I thought he can afford to lose the first 2 sets as well and come back and win in 5. He's just better than all of the players. It's just, there's no other way of saying it. He's just a lot better than them. It's like watching someone who's the best at their sport play someone who's never played it. That's how it feels. There's so much distance between him and everyone else at the moment.
We've got Talking Tennis trying to give their 2 cents now as well, saying today was such a poor quarterfinal. The stats don't back up what Patrick said when the went to the backhand 78% of the time. I think you've misread the tweet there, John. It says he starts the match playing almost exclusively to the forehand, so not the full match.
I think just at the start he was going there, then he of course moved it up.
No problem. Move on to the next one anyway. And you pointed this one out to me. I saw the post-match interview. I thought it was really nice as well. I thought it just showed he was celebrating his physio's birthday who couldn't be there. And he said it was his mum's birthday the day before, so gave her a happy birthday song on the mic where the crowd joined in. And she was giving him the little hearts from the crowd, which was nice. And then went on to say about Roger Federer and how he wanted everyone to give a round of applause for Roger Federer and say that tennis is missing him, which is really nice for him to just bring him up, to be honest. I mean, Federer's not been out of the game long, but we can't forget about one of the greatest players to ever play the game. So, and he said he's enjoying life and he is one of the most important players to ever play the game. And this, what does he say? He's dressing up for it's not fashion. It's a fashion show this week. So he's enjoying life. I like to hear that, Roger. Bit suave, isn't he? I don't doubt that he's on a runway somewhere.
Yeah, he's also been skiing as well. I saw a video of Federer skiing, and Djokovic did comment on that as well in the press, in the post-match interview. I don't know. I don't understand why he brought up Federer. But fair enough. I mean, it's a nice touch. Roger Federer is certainly being missed. He has done so much for the sport, more than any other player. And yeah, I guess it's good for Djokovic to recognise it. I just don't understand the relevance.
I think I know why.
I don't understand. Maybe I missed a bit at the start, but what is the relevance of him bringing up Federer?
Well, I'm going to delve a bit deeper on why it's relevant. Maybe it's relevant because no one's giving him a match. It's Australian Open. So he tried to think in his mind of somebody who used to give him a really, really good match. And that was Roger Federer. Maybe there's just not the same level of competition. And that's why he brought up Roger Federer, just to reminisce about the good days when they used to have these epic matches.
Yeah, that could be part of it. He's probably thinking, it used to be more fun when I was playing Federer. At least I was unsure if I was going to win or lose. Now I just turn up and beat everyone.
I know. We'll see how he fares in the semi-final against Tommy Paul. Next one, it's Tommy Paul. Obviously, the other one, we've got Tsitsipas Khachanov. And Khachanov into his second successive Grand Slam semi-final, which I didn't think I would ever be saying come 2 years ago. I don't think either of us would have said that.
Well, let's be honest. Since the 2018 Paris Masters victory against Djokovic in the final for Khachanov, I've been very down on him. You've been very down on him. We've not really thought he could do anything. But since then, he hasn't. He's been poor. And then, all of a sudden, springboarded into life in 2022 and had a really good year. There is a quote. Let me see if I can find it. So, he said, I think I've reinvented myself. I always believe in myself, but there is always ups and downs. And when you have those great results, it shows you what you're capable of. And then you start to believe more and more. This belief appears stronger after the US Open, said the former Russian number one. He was world number one. Well, the Russian number one at one point. And he feels very confident in himself right now. And that is why he has been so good in the last few Grand Slams. I think there is another stat here where he has won. So from the start of the 2022 season, he's won 15 matches from a possible 18 in Grand Slams, with the only 3 losses coming to Rafael Nadal at the Australian Open, went on to win it. Carlos Alcaraz at Roland Garros. I mean, Carlos Alcaraz at that period was on fire. He just won Madrid before and was looking good. Yep. And then Casper Ruud at the US Open, who ended up going all the way to the final, of course, and playing very, very well, Casper Ruud at that period. So that's his 3 losses in Grand Slams since the start of 2022. He's won 15 matches. He's been playing extremely well.
Yeah, and you can see there the resolve that he's been showing. I mean, we always thought Khachanov would just fall off a bit. When he started to lose, you saw the head went down. Now he's beating players in 5 sets and stuff. I mean, Carreño Busta at the US Open, not easy. Kyrgios, not easy. I think he's really impressive. The serve has always been a weapon for him, but I think he's backing it up with more tools now. And like you said, a confident Karen Khachanov is a worry for anybody. I think he's even beaten the likes of Djokovic before. Remember that Paris final? We always go back to it. Somebody who can put their level up there on one day of the year. May it be again in this semi-final? Maybe even a final. Could he do it? That's the big question for Karen.
One thing, though, is this is the massive thing against him. He can't beat top 10 players. He simply can't beat anyone inside the top 10. I know you can say Kyrgios, Busta, they was good at the US Open. Yeah, they are, but they're not top 10 players.
True.
And this is a crazy stat. He's currently experiencing a 22-match losing streak against top 10 players, dating back to the Montreal Masters in 2019.
Oh, my word. That's a terrible record.
Yeah, so he struggles against the top 10.
The reverse of Djokovic. Literally. What's going on?
Yeah, so it's pretty terrible. And he has only won 1 match out of 13 attempts against such players in slams. So if you just look at just slams, it's just only 1 in 13, which was Juan Martín del Potro in 2019.
I mean, how good was Del Potro in that year? I don't know. Just thinking about it, injuries plagued his career. It's just he has
the opposite record to Djokovic. He just can't beat the top players, and he will be pitted up against a top 10 player in Stefano Tsitsipas, who's number 4 in the world. Maybe go over to him. The head-to-head's pretty ugly between the two of them as well. It's Tsitsipas leading 5-1 on the head-to-head, 5-0 in official matches.
Yeah, you can see
one
that.
of them wasn't an official one. It's probably, was it the Boodles one?
Yeah, that's correct.
Like them.
Yeah, it looks like he has his number. Unfortunately, so that one doesn't even count, the one that won. So it's pretty much just 5-0, but quite a close one when they played in Rome. It's 3 sets.
There was a bagel in there though, Ben. One of the sets, if I remember correct.
You are correct. Yeah, the second set. So after winning the set, he fell apart. I don't know. The last time I played on hard court, that was in Toronto. It was pretty comfortable again for Tsitsipas, 3-2. All the signs are pointing to Tsitsipas, but looking back through his run, the only tough match, Jannik Sinner, really, it looks like, on his run to this semi-final. All the others were just really easy. I even thought Lehechka would trouble him a bit until it got to the tie break or the business end, and then he just cleaned up. His serving is so good at the moment, and I think you said, hadn't he not lost this year already? So if you go all the way back to, I think it was that exhibition as well. Yeah, so look, he goes all the way back to mid-December. He hasn't lost since then.
Yeah, he's just been in top form, beating everyone, playing very well. This is what Steph has had to say. He said, I'm feeling great with my tennis. I don't think I've felt this good in a long time. I've said it. I'm a different player playing different. My mentality is different. When I'm out on the court, I don't really think of negatives, to be honest. So he's just said there, which his biggest problem has been over the years, and that's been his mind. If he's no longer worried about thinking about other things outside of him playing tennis, then he's going to be dangerous, because technically he's one of the best players in the world. No one's doubted that. What we have doubted is his ability to get matches over the line. And against someone like Novak Djokovic in recent years, I think them two have had some really, really good battles. The big difference between Steph versus Djokovic and Djokovic versus Medvedev is always in for a shot of winning the match. Steph, 2 sets up a break. It doesn't really matter what situation he's in. You never really feel confident he's going to beat Djokovic. And the main problem why that has been is not been his ability, because on a technical level, he has the ability to go 2 sets up to Djokovic. He's shown it in a Grand Slam final. He's shown it so many times, up in tie breaks with a mini break, and then loses it right at the end. I think it happened in Paris last year before the Hodgoruna match as well. He should have won that one. But if he can change his mentality and that can become different, then this guy can win slams. And he can beat Djokovic. He can beat all of the players. That is the only key problem with Tsitsipas. Technically, he is world class. I love watching him play. He's one of the few people who actually have a really good serve and a great game. And in the game, in the modern day game, I would say he is the best player in the world at the net. Some people disagree with me. I think he's better than anyone. You put him towards the net, his hands are incredible. So I am a bit of a fan of Tsitsipas. I'm not going to hide away from it. Whether or not this is true, that his mentality is different now, we'll have to wait and see. But if it is, you'd fancy him to beat Khachanov and give Djokovic a really good match in the final. Or Tommy Paul.
Or Tommy Paul, yeah.
I'll put that in a disclaimer, but I'm not sure about it.
Well, I think that the key thing with Tsitsipas is also that it's the backhand. And if you're going to be playing against Djokovic, that will get targeted more than most. And then you just have to hope. If it's on, Djokovic is in trouble. But we're not talking about Djokovic yet. We're talking about Khachanov as well. It's a 5-love head-to-head. It looks like Tsitsipas, as long as he keeps it together, he will get to the final. And he has a shot, as Morgado says, at world number 1 as well. If he wins the title, he will become world number 1. And what a start to the year. He has all of the support as well. Think about it. All the Greeks down under. It's his second home, he said. And he's even said this. He said, that's what Australia means to me. He admits he would love to win the Australian Open and build a school in Victoria with the prize money. That's how much he loves Australia.
He said it's his favourite slam. He says it feels like it's home slam. I don't know. People are saying JD's dreaming so much to protect number 22. Maybe that's part of the reason. But I do stand by what I say about all of them things. Tsitsipas in recent years has been very good at the Australian Open, but usually falls down semi-final. He's now going to be the big favourite going into that semi-final. And he's looking... I don't think he started the season better than this. He's not lost. No. I mean, he's perfect. He's just been playing very well. And he seems very... physically fit. There's no injuries plaguing him at the moment, touch wood. So let's see what we are in store for. But I think that ties up nicely for us to do our predictions. So I don't know if you've got a graphic at all, but maybe we'll go through that. If not, I can send you one.
I thought you did, but I'm not sure. But yeah, ping me one if you haven't already. I thought something... Oh, God, it's slipped my mind now. It was about Tsitsipas.
It's backhand again. Slagging off.
No, it's not. It's backhand again. No, I can't remember what it was. It was going to be. Oh no, it's gone again. No, I nearly had it again. My mind is pulling a blank. I think it was something I mentioned earlier. That was it. It was about Tsitsipas's mentality. I know that you were touching on it before. I think the way he played the match against Sinner, which was his toughest match, was really smart. And I've not seen him do that in a match before, where he knows his gas tank is so good over 5 sets. He can revitalize himself in that 5th set, and he sort of just took the 4th set off a bit. He was happy to just go 2 sets all with Sinner because he just lost the 3rd. Happy to lose a 4th with the knowledge he would come out and play a lot better in the 5th, and he did. I thought it was super impressive. Not many players can do that. Just pretty much hand away a set just to recharge the batteries, just to go big and know that their best game will defeat their opponent in the fifth. But that's what I think he did.
Right, let's move on to the predictions. I've sent you the graphic so you can bring it up.
Okay.
Let's start off, I believe, with what we started the video. That's going to be Novak Djokovic, Tommy Paul. We've said all of the stats. They're all mounting in Novak Djokovic's favour. Tommy Paul's route has been very favourable. How do I see this one playing out? I think Tommy Paul, being his calm character, will handle the occasion a lot better than Alex de Minaur and Rublev did. However, it's going to be the same result. And I'm going Novak Djokovic to win this one in straight sets.
Any set score predictions, just so we can because I think a lot of people.
Yeah, just so you can gauge what I mean. So I think we're going to see a 6-4, a 7-5, and a 6-2.
Okay, nice.
6-4, 7-5, 6-2. Second set will be relatively close, but Djokovic ultimately will win in straight sets.
Right, I'm going to go for something slightly different, but the same result. I'm going to go into Djokovic in straight sets. I'm going to go first set is going to be a tie break, and Djokovic is going to take it on a tie break. And then the second set is going to be about a 6-3, and then the final set about 6-1. It's gradual decline.
The last set is going to be one-sided. I mean, he has bageled someone.
Maybe a bagel. Set. I would love to see a bagel. Maybe I'll go bagel then. Okay, I'll go 7-6, 6-3, 6-love.
Who did he bagel, Ben? Do you have that?
Bageled two players. I think he bageled Quaco, the Frenchman, and he bageled
Bueno as well. He did it in the last set.
That's it.
Yeah, he did. He got a bagel in the last there. So he has been playing very well in set 3. So yeah, we're both going for Djokovic, both straight sets. Let's move on to the one above or below. Yeah, above. So this is a little bit closer, maybe. Karen Khachanov versus Stefanos Tsitsipas. We spoke about the head-to-head. We spoke about how Khachanov is on a 22-match losing streak against top 10 players. He's never beaten Stefanos Tsitsipas. He often falls at the semi-final stage. Come on. I mean, it's got to be Steph. He's playing so well at the moment. I want him to win. I think he is the only player who can protect 22 for Rafael Nadal as well. And with the Rafa hat on, of course, that will be part of me inside. I'm not going to lie to anyone. That will be an element to everything I'm feeling and my emotions. But that's not just the whole story. I do generally believe Stefanos Tsitsipas is a lot stronger than Karen Khachanov. I still think if he's to get to the final against Djokovic, it's going to be a very tall order. But you have to wait for the final preview to see what I have to say about that one, because I'm going to be going Stefanos Tsitsipas in this one, also in straight sets.
Right. I'll try and deviate and make this one a little bit more interesting, so we're not got the exact same prediction. I'm going to be going Stefanos Tsitsipas in 4.
Okay. And what set does Karen take?
First one. Then he gets bageled in the second set again.
I'm loving all of the Djokovic fans in the live chat. Anyway, we've got Khachanov in 5. We've got Yugoslav Khachanov in 4. They're loving it.
Wow, they've
Nature Explorer Khachanov in 3.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think that's disrespectful to Steph, to be fair.
Yeah, Gary saying protecting 22 will be temporary, JG. Count on that. Well, I'll protect it while I can. And yeah, I'm happy with my predictions. So that sums it up. That is our semi-final predictions. Let us know in the comment section or in the live chat right now, what are your predictions for these semi-finals? Do you agree with me and Ben that we're going to get a Djokovic-Tsitsipas final again? I think them two can live up to a special final. We'll wait and see. Let's see what happens. You never know. We could be watching Tommy Paul Khachanov. Australian Open final.
Sure, everyone's hoping for that one. No offense. Right, let's wrap it up. We got the women's preview coming up for the semi-finals. That's straight after this one. Make sure hit a like, subscribe to the channel. Trying to hit 50k subs. We're nearly there. Can we do it by the end of the Australian Open? I believe we can. But send in your selections and your predictions in the comments section, and join us for the women's. Come on.
Yeah.
It's coming up
Thanks,
soon.
everyone. See you soon. Like
Bye.
and subscribe. Goodbye. Have a beautiful day.